Anglo American is a global leader in the mining environment with major interests in gold, platinum, diamonds, coal base and ferrous metals. Its CEO Cynthia Carroll has recently quit. It has a market cap of 380 billion rand, as Paul said earlier, a price to earnings ratio of 11 and a dividend yield of 2.3%. Is there some positivity in the Anglo American story from your side, Paul?
No, not much from my point of view. The trouble again is, look, Tony Treyer, her successor, kicked out the Mondi assets, floated those. Then they decided to double down on platinum. They did some spectacularly good work at Kumba, which we know has been a great success. But they spent an absolute bucket load on some rather dodgy looking iron ore assets in Brazil, which they bought from Brazil's richest guy, Eike Batista. He did better out of the deal than they did. They've been trying ever since to get that project going.
Whose fault was that? Was that Cynthia Carroll's fault?
Well, you know, I mean, at the time, it was generally the view that you needed more iron ore, so that's what they did. The copper thing, they had a bit of a fight with the Chilean government, but now where they find themselves is they perceive to have, too much South African asset exposure. And at the moment, you know, obviously with Marikana and the drama on the, Bushveld complex, that's not so good. And then the Brazil thing is a mess. Now the CEO has stepped down. I mean, I don't even know who's going to take that job. But
who's going to take the job, Seppo? Because this is a stock you like. Now give us the glowing report on Anglo American.
This is a stock I love, not just like. So I'll go that far.
Very emotive language coming from Mr. Madiba.
Look, there's rumours about, I think it's probably, if you're looking for a replacement right now, Mick Davis is one of the names that's doing the rounds. So it would be interesting to see who takes over. But if you're looking at Anglo's from an investment thesis perspective, I think the quality of assets talks volumes. You spoke about quality of assets for Billiton, but if you're looking for a quality platinum asset, you don't get further than Anglo Plats. I mean, the truth is, whilst in the current environment, platinum is not going anywhere, the reality is I'm willing to put money on 10 years' time, there being more cars sold than there currently are, and demand for platinum being sustainable.
It's just a cyclical story.
It
in
is
the
a
platinum
cyclical
industry.
story.
It will recover.
Yeah.
It's not an all fall down scenario.
It's not,
and
the market
levels,
is.
How high is your level of conviction? Are you accumulating aggressively?
To put it into perspective, we like Anglos not just on an absolute basis in the South African portfolios, but we are so bullish on the story that even in our global portfolio, we've got exposure to Anglos. So we could pick anything in the world.
He loves the stock. Can you not be convinced by that argument?
Look, the other piece to put on the table is the De Beers acquisition. So they bought out the Oppenheimers. They're paying like $5.2 billion to acquire that additional stake, which is fine. The problem is that jewelry business is fabulous. Johan Rupert's making all the money, but the diamond miners are not in as favorable a position as they used to be, because the whole sites and funding of cutting and all that just got broken in the last meltdown in 2008.
All right, you can't be convinced. Hot or not on Anglo American?
No, I'm afraid I think it's a bit of a value trap.
Seppo, why is it not a value trap? You've got to come back at him before I give you hot or not.
Look, I think the underlying basis of Anglos is going to be determined by what commodity prices do. And long term, we're very bullish on platinum, very bullish on copper. So I think that's going to be an overriding factor that drives us.
Hot or not on Anglo
So
American?
it's very hot for us.